Hello everyone, it's the Mandara Brothers. It seems like that's the name that people have given us now. We should trademark that, shouldn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we're here to talk about the Streets of DSM Augmented Reality Exhibition that we did a couple of weeks ago. It was from the 8th of May to the 18th of May 2021. So we're going to talk about what inspires us, a little background about ourselves, and the most asked question, what is next after this exhibition? So where do you think we should begin, Shalua?
Yeah, I think first we should talk a little bit about ourselves, and I'd like to start.
Okay.
So my name is Shalua Mandara. I'm a creative technologist, primarily focused on digital design, brand design, art direction, and augmented reality.
You call yourself a creative technologist. This is the first time I'm hearing of this.
What?
Yeah.
So by definition, a creative technologist is a technology-focused professional who understands the creative process. And as you know, I studied software engineering.
Yes.
But, going through, I've always wanted to, create apps and games. So being a software engineer, I've come to realize that I needed to add more stuff to be able to make it. Like a software doesn't just work well. It has to be branded well. It has to look good. You have to add some creative elements to it. And that's when I found myself dabbling into the creative industry. I did photography. I've done graphic design, a video. And I feel like they've all kind of helped shape me become a better creative. And so I've always tried to find a way to join the two together, instead of telling people I'm a creative, I'm an art director, but at the same time, but I also do software, I can code, I can make apps. So I've always tried to find out how do I explain this in one word? And as always, through research and all that, I came through the title Creative Technologist, which I feel resonated the most with what I do, and it represents me
as to who you are,
as to who I am and what I do.
And you know what's interesting? When you say creative technologist, people be like, what is that? Then it gives you the chance to even talk about it.
It gives me a chance to explain.
You know what? I have not put thought into my title. So when someone asks me, who are you? So my name is Ngaira Mandara. I am an artist. So that's where I usually begin. But Ngaira Mandara's, the artist began since primary school. I remember we had the art classes, I think at Hekima. You remember this?
Every morning.
Every single morning we had art classes. So our teacher would sit us down, tell us a story, and then she would give us a paper and paint. And she would tell us to paint something from the story that really touched us. I remember it was teacher Sarah who did this.
So I think we've always had that creative element.
Oh yeah, it began way back. So I feel like that is when Ngaira the artist was born, because that's when I fell in love with art. And I really enjoyed, I think it was my favorite session in school. Whenever I went to school and we had art that day, that was my favorite. The rest, mathematics and so on, was really boring to be. So that's where really my foundation and my love for art started. And since then, I have never stopped drawing. I remember I used to draw literally on anything I could find. I would draw at the back of my exercise book. I would draw on the wall. I would draw on my hand. Anything.
Oh, and I remember when I broke my arm and I had the cast. You were the one who decorated it. We wanted it to look like that game, the Morpheus. Is it from Metroid Prime or something?
Yes. My goodness, you remember that? That's really cool. So that's really how I fell in love with art, and I just kept going with it until right now. So 2017 was when I decided that I want to be a full-time artist. That's the career I want to choose. And contrary to my career, I actually studied business.
I know. I was about to say, you didn't really study art.
Yes. So I studied business and finance, which in a way really helped me in building my art career, because I've always had that passion in the creativity and the art. But I think I needed the foundation in business to figure out how to build myself as a brand, as an artist, how to work with different companies and corporates and individuals, how do I save, etc., etc. So studying business and finance really helped me in building myself to have the balance of the two, the art and the business. So 2017 is when I really went into full-time artist, and my first job was to figure out what are the things I enjoy to draw.
So before you get to that, so you said 2017 is when you decided to do art full time.
Yes.
Did you just wake up one day and do that, or was it like what made you stop business? Because I know like you can get like a lot of jobs from that, and as you know, being a full-time artist, especially like I can speak from my experience, and like knowing the industry here, I know it's kind of hard, making a living with just art. So I know that's like a big risk decision. So how did you just come through that? Because
that's true. And I can say when I finished studying university, one thing I knew is that I didn't really, I wanted to do something on my own. So business was the most straightforward thing. And I remember before I even went into art, I did a couple of businesses. I went into agriculture. I was marketing and distributing dairy products. I went into the online grocery business, etc. So that really exposed me into the business world in Dar es Salaam. Even when I was doing the online grocery, I remember I used to go to Kariako every single morning. I think it was around 5:30 or 5 a.m. Wow. I was there early in the morning seeing how the packages and products from different regions of Tanzania came in, and people dropping off, different hotels picking up, like that whole hustle and bustle of the 5 a.m., 6 a.m. morning. In Shimoni, they call it, in Kariako. That's where it all began. And I experienced that, and I saw that, and I paid attention to it. So something I've always done, like I said, since primary school, was draw. It's something I never stopped doing. Even when I was doing the businesses, whenever I got free time, I would sit down and draw literally anything. And the things that would inspire me to draw are my surroundings. So let's say if I go to Kariako and then I see something, maybe someone carrying a load on the back, I'll be like, hey, that's a cool concept to draw. Then I'll draw it when I'm settled back at home. And that's always been my inspiration. So when I was in the journey and the search to figure out what I want to do in my life, because I was still searching, I tried doing all these different businesses, but it got to a point where it just felt like it wasn't my passion. And the ironic thing is, as I was trying to figure out what I want to do, I was drawing. Literally. It's almost like it was under my nose.
It was like right there.
It was right there. And I remember this one time I went to Moshi. It was my young sister's graduation, and we stayed an extra couple of days. Or was it just me? I don't remember very well. But staying in Moshi, trying to figure out like that journey of what's next. I was drawing the whole time, just drawing. So like, what am I going to do? And I decided to start posting my art. It's not like I woke up that day and say, hey, yes, art will be my full time. I just started posting at that time, and people saw, and they were shocked that I knew how to draw. So I continued posting. It just became a natural progression. It's almost like I found myself posting more art and slowly started getting orders, people wanting me to do portraits of them. Like, oh, there's a business here. I think when I got that first order is when I got the there's a business opportunity here as well. And I can literally take my talent and the passion, the thing I've always been doing, and figure out a way to make it into a business. So that's where I don't remember the exact date, but it was around 2017. It's when I got that realization. So since then, my journey was to figure out how to make it into a legitimate business that can earn me a living and help me pay for a home, feed me, and if I want to do more investments. That was my journey.
That was your journey.
That was my journey. And since then, I've been focusing mostly on illustration and animation, which is the medium I use to tell the stories and do the art and doing my business.
That's I think the way you explained it is perfect, because even on my side, when I was like, I studied software trying to build apps, what I found that I loved doing the most was actually creating. And that's why like I've dabbled through all these creative industries, and the one thing that I can say stood out of all, what made me like doing all those stuff was because I loved creating. So creating an image, creating a video, creating like a software. I love creating, like taking something, I don't want to take it apart. I want to know, how does this work? How do I create something out of different things?
I remember this. I remember a time you were the person we went to because you enjoyed figuring out, let's say, if there's this game, how do we figure out how to change the setting in a certain way? You would really enjoy that process of like figuring out, going on the internet and trying out these things. And I remember you've been doing this for years now.
Even, my nephew Kai.
Yes.
he used to say that the uncle who knows everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like through my journey and my love for creating, it's what made me go through all these fields and these creative fields and helped me get to where I am right now.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, so I think before we actually get into the exhibition itself, I think you should talk a little bit about the Streets of Dar es Salaam. So I know, like you said, you now transition into an artist. Yeah. So how did this Streets of Dar es Salaam start? What actually inspired you to start the series itself?
Okay, that's an interesting question. What I can say from that is when I got into art and I was trying to figure out how to make a living from art.
Okay.
The one thing I saw is that, other artists hold exhibitions. They do exhibitions, they sell their original pieces, and that's one way. I remember I was walking home one day. That time we were staying at Makumbusho area. Yeah. So I was walking home, and then I saw the mshikaki.
So wait a minute. I think for the people listening, not everyone would understand the mshikaki. Try to explain what that actually is.
Okay, so mshikaki translates to skewer. And basically what it means is that in the motorcycle, when you have 4 people sitting on one motorcycle, it actually looks like skewers of meat.
Yeah.
So that's hence the name mshikaki. So mshikaki is a Swahili translation of skewers.
Like a slang.
It's a slang, exactly. Yeah. So that's really where the phrase comes from.
Okay.
And I saw that and I was like, hey, this is something iconic that people would know. So I drew that.
Yeah.
And I remember another evening, I was at Makumbusho bus station. It was around the evening and the bus came in and people were fighting to get on the bus. I'm like, hey, this is another thing. This is something else that is kind of recognizable and relatable. Yeah. So I drew that as well. And I remember the thing I did is I posted the 2 images, the mshikaki and the daladala. And then I asked, this was on Twitter. Actually, it was through different platforms.
Yeah.
I asked my followers, like, hey, I'll be doing a series of the experiences in Dar es Salaam, people I've met, etc. Is there something that you would like to see drawn? So people gave different ideas and things that they have experienced, and the series came to life. So I started drawing all these different experiences and my experiences as well, and it became a series. Okay. And when I saw the series, I'm like, wow, this is something that I can do. Like I can do so much with this.
Yeah.
And the first thing that came to mind was an exhibition.
Yeah. I think you had mentioned this. You're like, I can actually do an exhibition based on this series.
Oh, yes. That's for sure. Once the series came to life, The Streets of Dar es Salaam, I was like, hey, I can do an exhibition. But there was much more I could do with that series.
Okay.
And the first thing I thought of was, hey, maybe I could make t-shirts out of this. So during that time I was posting the Streets of Dar es Salaam, different illustrations, it grabbed a lot of attention of people. People started sharing and resharing. And a number of people reached out to me with literally the same ideas, like, hey, why don't we collaborate and do a series of t-shirts together? I've met with a couple of people, and there's one person I met that we just clicked from the first meeting. We understood the vision, the work that needs to be put, and it was an immediate agreement right then and there when we first met. And that person is Ali Remtula. So I met with Ali Remtula, we agreed on the vision that we have, and we're like, hey, let's make t-shirts out of this. We made the first batch to see how people would respond from it, and the response was really good. And we just kept making more t-shirts and more merchandise.
Those t-shirts were a hit. I remember I myself was like, yo, I need to buy one of those.
Exactly, yep.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that whenever someone wears the t-shirt and you see it, they're like, yes, I know what this is. This is the boda boda. This is the mshikaki. This is really cool. So where can I get this t-shirt? Like, okay.
Yeah, and that's actually really true. And I remember I was once out and I met someone, and I was actually wearing one of the t-shirts, and someone else was wearing the t-shirt.
Yeah.
So the first thing the person came to me, they're like, "Yo, you have this too?" Like, yeah, man, we're representing our city. They're like, "Hey, we should support local." And I was like, I didn't tell him that I know the person who did this, but I was just happy. I was like, finding people you don't even know, random people wearing the t-shirts, and it's really great seeing that. So Are these t-shirts, still available? Where do we get them if someone wants them?
Oh, yes. The t-shirts are available. Since I partnered with Ali Mtula, all the products are available in his shop. It's located along Chole Road in Masaki. We have an Instagram page called TheStreetsofDSM. You can actually check out our page, see all the products that we have available. There are some contacts on the page. We've also managed to sell our products through other shops as well. There's a shop here at Make It Matter. We also sell at Sleepway and more shops that we are reaching out to. And we also sell international now, actually, through partnering with Bijou Trendy. She has a website where people can order and we deliver internationally. So they're available in a number of places, but if someone wants to know where they can start on our Instagram page, and that's where we can help you and give all this information, and it's available here and here and here and here. So we're really taking the brand and expanding it to different places to make it more available.
So the series grew into a merchandise business, which I believe is doing really well.
Oh yes, it's been 2 years since we started the business, and we're still doing it until to this day. And we are hoping to continue to expand, have more diverse range of products, etc., etc. I guess that is the business sense in me that I studied that really helped in making this partnership work well. And it's managed to help in also providing a living for me and the team. And I myself buy the products. Of course.
And it's like having a piece of the city with you. It's like You're proud. You own something that represents where you're from, where you live. I really enjoy, personally, I really enjoy wearing it and proudly wear it all the time. I'm actually wearing one right now myself.
Yes. I see the Askari Monument t-shirt. And the thing that makes me the proudest is that when I got into the business, the first batch of t-shirts, all my family and friends got a t-shirt. You were literally the first supporter in my business. And I was really happy when, these things were happening. And you paid full price. You didn't even ask for a family discount, which is something people usually ask for. So when someone comes to me and say, hey, family discount, or like, my family pays full price, I can proudly say,
I always believe we're all struggling and we're all trying to get somewhere. And I believe we should all support each other fully. And it's how we'll all grow as individuals. So now you did the merchandise, and also how did it transition to the exhibition? You said it's something you've always thought of doing. So why didn't you do that first?
So why I did not do that first is because as much as I wanted an exhibition, I wanted to do it in a way that it has an extra oomph to it, something unique, a unique experience. Because at the end of the day, I didn't want people to just go to the exhibition and look at the artworks. You can do that on my Instagram page and so on. I wanted people to come and look at the artwork and have an extra experience to it. That's why I didn't do it. So I was in that search to figure out what is this extra oomph and this extra experience that I can get and use to the exhibition that I want to do. And as you know, whenever any of us are thinking or trying to figure out something, we come to each other.
All those annoying questions, like that annoying client.
Of course.
That little thing you're stuck off.
Of course.
Like you need a little help here or there.
Yep. So naturally I came to you to have this talk. And luckily for the both of us, we are people who do a lot of research. Since childhood, we've always loved experiencing the different technologies.
We've all experienced a lot of stuff we've experienced together, like playing games, watching anime, cartoons. I think it kind of builds this collaboration thing between us. Like we understand each other's process because we're all exposed kind of to the same things. So so I think that really has shaped us and shaped this bond that we have together.
Oh, for sure.
And so I remember when you came to me about trying to make this exhibition different. And it was at this time, we're always up to date. We're always reading what's happening in the world, never missing these developer events or these game events and stuff. And a specific technology that stood out to us was augmented reality. So as you said, the Streets of DSM series itself is based off the experiences and the stories that happen within the city. So that was the first aspect I think we're all looking at. The story and the experience, and how can we make that like more? How can we like make that extra? Like, what spark can we get from that?
Give it even more of an experience.
Than just, looking at a picture. And, as you're a storyteller, and you know that everything is probably run by stories. It's stories that make us feel. And as you know, like, there are many types of stories, movies, series,
animation,
novels, which are actual stories themselves, music. So all of these are different types of stories. And art too is a part of story.
How can you forget that?
I know, my mind was kind of drifting off. So art is also a type of storytelling itself. So what makes the others stand out, like movies, stories and all, they have this added factor called time. Watching a movie, listening to music, it's that time factor that takes you through the story.
Of course.
And in art, this time factor, hasn't really been there. Art is like a frozen frame, it's like you're watching a movie and it's paused. So you're like, you kind of have to use your imagination because you're like, okay, what happened before? What's happening now? And usually it's either you need the artist to explain that to you, or you kind of either need an artist, or
you leave it to your imagination.
You leave it to your imagination, which there is a beauty in that. But technology has enabled us to add the time factor to the art. So now the art is able to tell its own story. And that technology is called augmented reality. So augmented reality, you are adding digital objects or experiences to the real world. The world augmented itself means more. So the reality that you see becomes more.
So it's like more reality.
So reality is more. And you can experience this using like a phone or like a tablet. So once we realize, like, okay, storytelling and augmented reality enables art to tell its own story. So we're like, the streets of Dar es Salaam is about the experiences that occur within Dar es Salaam. So why don't we bring that experience back and make people relive that experience? So we had that aha moment. So we're like, okay, so someone's gonna come to the exhibition and not just look at the pictures. Of course, the pictures will spark the memories. But now we're like, what if we can make them experience those memories again? And that is how we started the journey of seeing, like, how do we make this work?
And a journey it was. That was quite the journey.
I remember the first part we saw it. So we're like, okay, so how do we make this work? What are we actually gonna do with augmented reality? Do we put them in the streets? First, I had to learn the technology. Of course, with my background in software, it was a bit easy to understand the technology, but what I realized, understanding and applying it is two different things.
Of course.
So this was like 2019, and I had to like started learning how the technology works, how to apply it, and a lot of research went in and learning how this works, how do we apply it, and what mediums are there.
And I remember that from 2019 is we looked at the different platforms and ways we could do it. Some platforms we even had to pay, so we put in our money. We try. You remember that, don't you?
I remember we paid for something and we couldn't make it work, so it was like money gone.
I'm telling you. You even tried to go into the forums to figure out, but then you tried the solutions, but they didn't work. But it's part of the learning process, and it's something that we've always been doing. We take risks. Not all the things we put our time and investment in will work, but you learn from it.
So of course, I remember particularly it was around last year that
2020
and we all know what happened that year. we kind of, there was a period where everyone was just at home,
we had all the time
to go deep into this. And the social media platforms, Facebook and Snapchat, had just released these filters.
Yeah.
And we all know them as filters, but they're a form of augmented reality.
Oh, yes.
And at first, like, we've all tried that dog ear filter, the one that you put your tongue out and, like,
I really hate that one.
The famous flower crown.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That's like, these became so popular. And it's a form of augmented reality in itself. Yeah. And it was, I think, end of 2019, or I think early 2020.
Early 2020,
these Facebook and Snapchat actually released an open platform for other creators to create these different filters and experiences.
Is this the Spark AR?
Yeah, so Spark AI is made by Facebook.
Yeah.
And Snapchat has its own as well.
Yeah.
So we started looking into it because one of the factors that we wanted, we were looking at we didn't want people to come to the exhibition and we have to make them download a new app, because we all know like everyone's saving space on their phone.
Of course, and that was a key thing that we thought of. We didn't want to get people to download a new app. So we needed to use a platform that they most likely will already have in their phones.
Yeah, something that they already have, something that they can easily share with their friends.
Yes.
And something that, eliminates the learning factor. Like, you don't have to go deep into teaching a person to learn something new. So they kind of already have an idea on how to use it.
Yes.
And that's why the platform we chose was the Facebook Spark AI, which you just mentioned. So that's their platform so Spark AI itself is a software that enables you to create the AR experiences which you publish to the Facebook platform. So you can publish your effect or filter into Instagram and Facebook itself.
Okay, so about that, because I do have maybe 2 questions from it. One, is it free? And 2, does that mean that anyone can go in and create their own filters that will be used on the platform?
So yes, so that was one part that we were happy about. So the platform itself was free, and all that was left was your creativity.
Yes.
To create what you want.
Yeah.
To create that spark.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So after like learning about the platform, how it works, we went into it and said, okay, let's try this out. Let's try to create an experience based on the art, the Streets of DSM art. And the first thing we were like, we've all watched Harry Potter, Star Wars and stuff. And there's this particular in Harry Potter, their school.
Yes.
When they go into the schools, those pictures were like talking and like they were moving. They were alive. Like they could converse with them. I'm sure you remember that.
Oh, I remember it.
So that kind of helped us. We already had an idea, like we could actually make these art come to life. And I told Ngaira, I know some of your illustration actually have animations.
Yes.
So why don't we build experience based on that, so the art will come alive when someone tries to activate the experience.
Yes.
And we're like, let's give it a try. And I remember we stayed up all night working on that. And then I remember waking up, banging on your door like, yo, Ngaira, come check this out. It works. And you came out and we were like, I tested it out and it actually worked.
The shock on my face. Like finally, after all those trials and errors and failures and money spent, seeing it work was the best morning I had in 2021.
That was the most. I was sleepy, but all the sleep was gone by then. Like I was excited. This is actually this. It's different when you see something and you kind of build the concept in your head, but then when you actually see it work and applied, it is like a great feeling. Like that adrenaline rush. I remember I didn't sleep from then. We were like, yo, let's post this. Let's post this.
Yeah, we posted it. And when we posted that, oh my goodness, the reactions. The reaction. And I think we found something that works, and we wrote, hey, I think this is what we posted it and said, hey, imagine pointing your phone to a picture and then it comes to life.
Oh yeah.
Something like that. And people are like, oh my God, what is this? What is this? The attention it got. I was getting messages and DMs from people from Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, Asia, in the US. People are like, what is this? Like, what plans do you have with this?
Yes. And I realized it was something apart from, let's say, we're like here in Tanzania. It was something that not many people are doing globally itself.
Yeah.
So we were getting reactions all over.
Yeah.
And that was actually like a really exciting experience.
Oh yes.
Just from that, and it motivated us now to like, okay, we just posted about this, and now we should actually work on something.
Yes. And that was when the planning and for the exhibition really began at that time.
Yes.
And I think the very first task we had in mind was we did it with one. Let's create others.
Yeah, and since you have been building this series for years, so we just had to now select, okay, let's try to build this exhibition experience. What are we going to use? What art are we going to use? And it all started from there.
Yeah. And luckily, like as you said, as much as I've been doing illustrations, I've also been doing animations. So from the same experiences of the Streets of DSM, I also created animations prior. During the process. So luckily, we had the assets that we needed to create. We just needed to select them. So we selected a couple, we tried them out, they worked, and we figured, hey, maybe we should have a bit more. I remember the first time we wanted to have was it 12?
Yeah, I think like 12 or something.
I think it was way more than that. But then I was like, yo, it takes a bit of time to create all this. Let's start with a number that, first of all, we have. And there were three extra ones that I made because we thought we really need to have animations for these as well.
Because the experience was the art coming to life, so we needed to create those animations that brought the experience that the artwork was portraying.
Exactly.
And now from that, so we're like, okay, now the art comes to life, but at the same time we're like, we need to make it a whole experience. It shouldn't just come to life. We should add more factors that spark that experience.
Yeah.
So we had to get the sounds that relate to those experiences. That took a lot of searching by itself.
Oh yeah.
And I remember we wanted to add another special factor in it. So we added the original sketch.
The original sketch. Yes. To add to that, as much as I am doing digital art, I've always drawn on pencil and paper. That's always been the thing I've been doing for years, and it's literally my foundation as an artist.
So before you draw something, you always have to sketch it out first.
Yes, I always have to sketch it out first. And something I don't do as much is I don't draw exactly what I see. I will sketch out how I want to portray it and figure out how to add my touches to it, So let's say if it was the mshikaki, the boda boda.
Yeah.
I did a sketch from what I saw. There were 4 people on the sketch, but it was 4 men.
Oh, okay.
So when I did the final artwork, I'm like, I need to have some women here.
Yeah.
So I drew, I think it was 2 women and 2 men. One of the men was driving and one at the back.
Okay.
So that's how I really go through the process. But it all begins on the sketch. The sketch is what guides me to what I want to do at the end.
Yeah, and I feel like the sketch really helps people understand the process. Like, this is where it started until what you're seeing right in front of you.
Yes.
So it kind of ties into the experience, that and the sound. Yes. And it was it was really great to build such experiences. And each artwork itself, we created unique experiences in them.
Yeah.
And so we had to start making all that, and we've started to create a series and now planning the exhibition. Where are we gonna do it?
Oh yes, I remember. I thought the headache would be creating the illustrations and the animations and the technology, but the true headache was actually planning the exhibition.
Oh yeah.
And that was the very first thing we wanted to think of, was where are we going to do it?
And how much is it going to cost us?
And how much is going to cost us? More money.
Yeah.
And we visited a number of places, which they were interested. They gave us different prices. And we came across a place called TheDrum, or Make It Matter. They are in the same space. So Make It Matter is a shop that sells different products that were made by local artists.
And you also have some of your products there as well.
Exactly. Now TheDrum is a platform that supports artists, sort of gives them the space to showcase their work. And luckily for us, we managed to meet with Rebecca, who is the founder and the owner. And we pitched to her the idea, what we have in mind on the augmented reality. The moment we showed her the augmented reality, like, she was so excited.
She was like, she's never seen this before as well. And it was an exciting reaction to see. And it is
I think she was one of the first people we showed. Like, I know there's a number of people, like maybe 5 of them we showed this, because we needed to pitch the idea in trying to get a venue.
Yeah.
So when we showed her, she was so excited and immediately said, hey, here's my space. You won't have to pay. We're just going to use it as a platform to showcase this.
Yeah, because the Drum itself, the place, is a creative arts hub promoting visual and performing arts in Tanzania. So it's a space to create, connect, and collaborate.
Exactly.
So she's always helping artists, building a platform for the artists to showcase their work and express themselves in many ways. She was willingly and very happy to help and give us her space.
Yes.
And say, you can have the exhibition here. What do you need from me? And I can try help as much as I can. We didn't expect this, and we're really happy and grateful for that.
Extremely grateful. She literally sponsored the space to us, and anything else that we needed, she was willing to support. So we were very happy in getting her support in it. So we finally found the venue. We're very happy. Now we needed to set dates. So we had the discussions, we figured out the dates. We're like, okay, this is the date, we're going to lock it in. And
it was now time to prepare and finish up this, because we had not finished creating these experiences and testing. So it takes a while. It's not like a one night thing. It took a lot of time. We started like focusing on now creating the artwork. What size is it gonna be? And seeing what hurdles we're gonna face. Like a hurdle we actually faced was we made the artwork, printed it, framed it, and it was in the normal frame. We usually sell the normal prints, and then it usually has a glass.
Yeah, it's a framed piece with a glass.
Yeah, so now we realize that when you try to scan that, glass is reflective. So sometimes the camera won't recognize the image, and the experience was not that great. So we needed to now focus on making the experience the best that it can be. So even the size of the image, like if it's too small, people won't really experience what we want to show them. So we had to make the artworks bigger, the material that we're going to use. So those are kind of like the different hurdles we faced. And now we had a deadline, because we had an actual date which everything had to be ready and done.
Oh yes. So we put a lot of time and investment and into finding the right size for the best experience for the augmented reality prints. So when we finally figured out what size and material we're going to use, the type of framing, everything, and we had that ready, now, I mean, including having also the animations and illustrations. So once we had all of that ready, we needed to print them all and select other artworks that I did in the series. So we had them all printed, all framed, and we were ready to go.
Yes, yeah. So now we had the series, we had the AR prints themselves, and we had already created the experience that we want people to have when they're viewing the exhibition itself. So now
let's talk about the day before. Literally on the 7th of May, I remember putting up all the artworks, because actually we did come a couple of weeks, I think maybe it was 2-3 weeks before, to figure out how we wanted to look, etc. But on the day we got there and then we put them up. We're like, listen, we can change things up a bit. It took almost the whole day to figure out a certain look.
I came in, I was like, we need to change this.
We need to change
this. And I was looking at it, and like, when someone walks in, what should they see first? And how should we make the interaction? And how should they experience all this? And how should they get their answers? Like, people have questions while you're experiencing it. So we try to make sure they get all their answers as well when they're experiencing it.
Exactly. And this is where our partnership and collaboration, it's not just limited to the art and technology. It's spread out through the whole experience. Like, you are really good at the visual aspect of it. Like, in terms of the experience of the person coming in. So you could come in and look at the space and say, hey, maybe we should have this here. I would be really good at the logistics, figuring out the printing, the material to use, the logistics of moving them here and there. So
I know, I'm not good in that.
so we complemented each other and figured out even more about our talents and our process. In a way, it sort of solidified our collaboration. Even.
Yeah, I remember even creating the artworks to advertise the exhibition itself.
Yeah.
So we needed to figure out, okay, how do we explain what they're gonna come experience it? How do we make a poster? Because we didn't want to make just a poster.
Yeah.
We needed the poster itself to show like what they're gonna see. So that was like something I was like, okay, let's see. And I was actually just learning this software called After Effects.
Oh.
Yeah. So
literally,
I was like,
when you were learning about this software, you decided to use it to make the poster. Yeah. I was bugging you a lot, like, hey Shalua, well, where's this poster?
Yeah, I know. And yeah, so I was like, don't worry, I have this idea. It's gonna work. Yeah. And I was like, shit, I just made a promise or something that I'm not sure myself how it's gonna apply. You know, late nights figuring stuff out.
Of course.
And
finally, as usual, one morning, I don't know why you always finish your stuff in the morning. I wake up and you show me the poster. I'm like, yep, this is the one.
This is the one. Yeah, man, you know, our creativity comes out during the night.
Oh, yes, that's for sure.
Yeah, so we figured out and the first poster went out because, you know, we wanted the exhibition to stand out. So, of course, the marketing material has to stand out on its own. So.
And I'm very, very happy that you're part of my team.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, how did you feel when we finally completed setting up the exhibition? You know, we finally finished the design and the look, and I think this was around 6:30 p.m.?
Yeah, it was like
in the evening.
7, yeah.
So we took a step back and looked at it. How did you feel in that moment?
Relief.
Like, finally.
Yeah, finally. I was like, man, relief. But then at the same time, you're like, okay, we're done with all this. But now, tomorrow, we're going to start another headache. Like, I'm never good at public speaking or like interacting with people. I was nervous about that because I was like, okay, what am I going to tell people? I'll lose my words midway. Like, so that was another thing now I had to like a whole night to sleep on and be prepared for.
I was super excited because, you know, I enjoy interacting with people and talking to them. The public speaking part, I guess that's another way we complement each other.
Yeah.
First of all, when I finally saw the visuals on how it looked, we had the lights on and looked at the frame. We took a step back.
We even have a picture of that night.
We have a picture of that night.
Yeah.
It looked so good. I was excited. And people started like passing by and taking a peek. We had to put a sign there that it's not open yet, you know.
It's gonna be open tomorrow.
It's gonna be open tomorrow. But I was so excited. Like, this is what we were working for all this time.
Like a year or so in the making.
It was just the two of us, but we slowly started getting the team and people interested. The Rebecca and Ali Remtula, they really helped us in giving us the motivation and support to make it happen.
Support and advice. And it was really great seeing that all come alive. And now we had to, you know, go sleep and be prepared for the day of the actual opening.
Mm-hmm. And the day comes.
Yep.
The day of the opening. I remember us getting there early in the morning because it's starting at 10 a.m. We came before 10 a.m.
Yeah,
it was probably 9:45 at the time.
I was sleeping. I was like, what if we go there and like some frames have fallen and like
I remember you telling me this. I'm like, Shalua, just calm down.
Yeah.
We'll get there, we'll figure it out, you know. I'll get another frame, I'll fix it. So we got there, we made sure everything is good. We switched on the TV because you made an instruction video.
I actually finished that in the morning.
I remember. So we got in the morning, switched on the TV, make sure everything is good, and then we sat at the cafe.
Yeah.
Waiting for people to come.
Yeah. The waiting began. And wow. That day was, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. I was not expecting all those people to come, and I was surprised. Like it was a lot of people.
There were so many people.
And actually, the first people to show up was actually our parents.
Our parents, yes. Yeah. I remember getting a message in the family group like, we are on our way. This was around 10 something. And I was so excited, like, wow. So our parents came and they experienced the exhibition. they were so proud. Like,
yeah, that was a really great moment.
It was a great moment because I remember that time. I was with mom, you were with dad, and you were showing the experience, and I was showing the experience, and all of them were like, wow, this is amazing. We're so proud of you guys. And we took a picture. We have that family picture.
Yeah, and we're really happy because they've actually supported us a lot, especially not everyone has that support when you try to go into the creative industry. You know, it's tough getting the support from like your parents, and they kind of understand. And they're like, okay, we know it's hard, but we just told them to like believe in us, and they believed in us, and they let us be free and work on what we're doing, and it really helped getting that support.
Yeah, and we've been getting support from them I remember since we were kids. Remember, whenever we showed interest in something, they would find a way for us to experience it. Like I remember you and our youngest Olinga were into music.
Oh yeah.
And they looked for a music academy.
Yeah.
You know, so they
performing in weddings and stuff.
You know. So they've always been there for us in supporting our interests. When I got into art, I remember they would be the ones to get the paints and anything I needed to draw, you know?
Yeah, so they really played a huge part into where we are right now.
Extremely. And them being there, seeing the exhibition, the first ones there and seeing the exhibition and experiencing it, it was a proud moment for us as well. Like, hey, the work, everything you've done for us, this is it.
Yeah, I
mean, not this is it. This is like, this is one thing. Like, they were so happy and we were so happy. We had such an amazing moment.
Yeah.
And then friends started showing up.
Friends started showing up, and like we got a really huge support. I didn't expect a lot of people to come in. A lot of people showed up.
Yeah.
Everyone was surprised. Everyone was like, yo, this is so many people. Like, how do you know all these people? I'm like, I do not know all these people.
I know. And I think social media played a huge role because we've really been engaging a lot of people on social media from the moment we started experimenting with this. So people saw that we're organizing an exhibition, and we posted the dates, and they just showed up.
Yeah, so apart from showing up, the people's experiences, to see the people's reaction, it was all worth it. We saw all our hard work, and like it was all worth it. Some were surprised, like inquisitive. You could see the biggest smile, like they're witnessing all this, and they're like, how does this work? You know, witnessing art and technology coming together. You know, usually people see them as separate things.
Yeah.
But together you can actually like make more.
Yes.
With technology, it's like you add a whole new canvas into like the art itself, and you're able to express your art in so many different ways, and it was really, really great.
One of my favorite reactions was there was a kid who came with his mom. And we showed the mom how to activate the augmented reality. And when she showed her kid, the kid just grabbed her phone and started running around to look for he was so excited running around. I was just sitting there looking at the kid, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, like it was really interesting. People came with their parents. I was really happy to see like my nephews and nieces, like my sisters, and like it was really great. I really enjoyed having everyone there and seeing their surpriseness and their happiness, you know, and we got so many questions. So I tried escaping them and letting Ngaira answer all those questions, but then when it came to the technology questions, Ngaira was always like, yeah, that guy over there is going to answer that question. So now I had to face all these people and have to like now explain everything.
I remember the first day, we were supposed to close at around 8.
Oh yeah,
but
we did not close around 8.
We did not close at 8. We closed at probably around 10.
Yeah, it was like 10.
Even more people started showing up in the evening. Now, at that time, we're both exhausted, but I still had a bit of energy to talk. But you were there like, oh my God. Like, wow. So whenever someone asks me about technology, it's like, him over there. He will explain it to you.
Yeah.
That was
really it was really great. And yeah, it was really great, and I got to. Well, I guess my shyness had to go.
Yeah,
and I had to.
You got out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I got out of my comfort zone, and it was a really great experience.
Yeah. So day one was a huge hit. Very many people came.
Many people came. Yes.
And in fact, I remember the people who came on day one. told us like, hey, I'm going to bring my parents, my friends, they need to experience this. And so many people posted on social media. And I remember even the more days that went, whenever people came, we asked them, hey, where did you hear about this? Like, I saw this everywhere on my social media, people's Instagram stories, WhatsApp. And I was like, how are these artworks moving? I had to come find out.
I remember someone was arguing with someone who posted. Someone was like, nah, you're lying to us. And this person was like, no, this is real. Like, you should come to the exhibition and see it for yourself. A lot of people came, people we never even expected to come, like Nancy Sumari and
Kingo.
Like, Kingo, yes.
The artist who draws the Kingo comics. I was shocked when I saw him. I'm like, what? He came?
Oh, yeah.
His name is James. And so many people came, and because of the attention it was getting, it was a very organic type of
growth. Yes. And all these people coming and like appreciating the work, and of course the prints were also available for sale. They still are.
Yes.
We even got interviews, like media like approached that they're like, we need to do an interview.
Did you ever imagine doing an interview from the exhibition? Because I know, imagine this is probably like your worst nightmare.
I did an interview. I didn't want to look at it.
So this got so much attention that the media wanted to cover it. We had someone from The Citizen who came. We had someone from The East African who came and asked us a few questions, did an interview. We had someone from the China Global Television Network.
Yes.
We did a video that's up on their Facebook page. So, and we are still getting requests for interviews and people just wanting to know more about the exhibition. We're also still getting questions that, hey, is the exhibition still on? You know?
Yeah, and it was a really interesting conversation because we were showcasing the merger, the collaboration between art and technology, like showing how art is transforming and becoming part of this digital age. We're getting into this digital era and how everything like is supporting and helping each other, how one part is enhancing the other part, because it's all like different tools of expression and storytelling. So it was really great to share that with everyone. And I remember one question we got a lot were like, are you guys from Tanzania? Everyone was surprised that these guys are locals and like, where did you learn all this? And I was like, this all is available online. This is available online on YouTube. You just have to like search and look for it. And it was so interesting. And a lot of people were asking, how did you guys do this? How can they learn like the digital art, the technology itself? And it was really great sharing the knowledge with others. And I can't wait to see what they'll do with the knowledge as well.
Yeah. So the last day comes. That is the 18th of May. That's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
How did you feel on the day? Like you wake up in the morning like, this is the last day. I'm guessing you felt relief because, oh my God, finally, I don't have to talk so much.
Yeah, excitement, relief, of course. I was like, finally after this we can sleep tomorrow.
I know, right? That whole exhibition week, the lack of sleep we got.
It was exhausting but exciting. You don't feel tired then. Like when you're there, you're actually excited, and like I appreciate everyone taking their time. Even after closing, everyone was asking like, oh, I missed this. Oh, people went out of town.
Yeah.
So this is something that
they wanted more of.
And it's something we're looking into, like having more of these
experiences
and more, to share more with people.
Of course. So how I felt on the last day. The last day for me, I also felt relief because I was exhausted, because we did learn quite a bit during the exhibition because it was literally our first exhibition that we organized and managed.
I feel like we learned a lot through the exhibition.
There was so much that we learned. So we had a lot of things to fix here and there, a lot of people to interact with, the orders taking in. There's the business aspect of it. People were placing orders for the prints. People wanted to know where the merchandise are because we also displayed the merchandise in the exhibition just to showcase that, hey, the Streets of Dar es Salaam is this and this, and this is what it's about. So there's a lot we learned during the process, a lot of people with advice and so much that we will use for the next experience.
Yeah.
So I felt a huge sense of relief that it's the last day, and I was so happy and proud for the both of us and everyone involved in the team. I couldn't wait to finally sleep. I couldn't wait to wake up the next day and not really think of, maybe that frame is okay, because I also thought of that.
Yeah. We had a lot of questions, and one question that everyone kept asking is, so what is next? What are you guys doing after this?
And imagine at that time we're so exhausted. In my mind I was like, what's next? Well, I need to sleep first.
Yeah.
Next is amazing sleep.
Yep. We're like, nah. Yeah. Next we need to get some rest first.
Yeah.
That's what we're thinking about. We have a lot of things planned on doing together.
Yeah.
And we've started this collaboration way back. Like, we collaborated on my photography skills and your illustration.
Yeah.
We made a game. We made a game, part of our exploration, which led to the exhibition itself. Because when we were trying out the Facebook filters and all that, we actually made a game. We've made some filters based on another series itself.
Yep.
So we've already had this build up on, like, we kind of have a direction on where we want to go.
Yes.
And yeah, Ngaira can build up from that, but
of course. So what we want to do is continue creating experiences, number one, and we're going to tell stories. And we're going to use different mediums and tools to tell these stories and integrate technology to enhance these experiences.
Yeah, so like, we grew up playing all these games and stuff, and one thing we noticed is the local stories are not out there. Like, they haven't been adapted to this new technology. And we made like a simple game based off the Streets of Dar es Salaam itself.
Exactly.
And the exhibition itself is based off the experiences of the Streets of Dar es Salaam. So we want to be able to build more than that. Like,
we want to continue telling our local narratives using these different mediums. The video games that we've experienced, the comic books, the animations, the augmented reality, virtual reality. So we're going to continue using our talents and hopefully, who knows, work with other creatives as well in creating stories inspired by the local, whether it's history, it can be stuff that's happening right now, but we can also explore the history, let's say the history of Dar es Salaam, and come up with stories based on that. So really, that's the direction we want to go into.
Yeah, and since we're all in the digital space, so we're bringing our African stories and narratives and histories into the digital era through different modes of experiences and expressions, like games, illustrations, animations, and AR experiences and virtual experiences as well. So that's the direction that we're going to, like digital evolution.
Of course.
Like that.
And I know our answer is not very direct, like we're going to do an exhibition on this year. Of course, we have things in plan, and we are going to definitely announce them once we've locked them in. It's all part of our pipeline and the direction that we've already set. But we are definitely going to do more exhibitions. It will be based on Streets of Dar es Salaam, but also we are going to have this type of exhibitions telling other stories as well. We will develop games, we will create animations, and so much more content, mostly inspired by the local context.
We'll try to find ways to keep you updated. Follow us on our social media. Ngaira has his Instagram page at Ngaira_Mandara, or you can follow his comic page, which is Ngaira M Comics. You can follow the Streets of Dar es Salaam itself for updates on the Streets of Dar es Salaam, and my personal page is at Shalua Mandara.
On that note, there's some questions that people asked us on Twitter that I can read, most of which we've answered in this podcast, but there's a couple that I saw that we can talk about. One, how is it like working with your sibling? Like, the moment I saw this one, I started laughing.
That's actually a question that a lot of people asked. Like, you guys are brothers. How are you guys able to work together?
I know, right?
Yeah, well, they should know. Like, we do have disagreements.
Of course.
But I think we all get excited with the creative process, and that always like ties us together. So we have that binding us together. We all kind of understand and are going to the same direction. We have the same direction and thought process, so that really helps make our relationship stronger. And and also I guess growing up together, playing games together, so we kind of know like what buttons not to press.
I know, right? So how it's like working with your sibling, it's amazing, you know.
It's really great.
Since it's something we've been doing since we were kids, playing video games and all that. It's always been fun in just collaborating and working together in that aspect. And since then to this day, it's still fun. I guess it's because we grew up doing all these different things.
Yeah,
it's translated into us working together, and that's always fun. So another question that I think we also faced as kind of a challenge during the exhibition was, why iPhone only?
Yeah, so I can touch up on that. For most iPhones, the experience was seamless and they didn't really have any trouble. Most of the people with iPhones who had trouble, they just had to update their Instagram app.
Yeah.
So as you know, the augmented reality, the technology itself is new.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of devices which are not compatible with it, which is it was sad, but it's something that hopefully they'll make it possible later on. And to some devices which they don't have the capability, which most Androids, depending on the type of Android it was, were facing a lot of difficulties. So there are some Androids which worked and they had the experiences, but the majority of them were facing a lot of difficulties, which hopefully on my end I can say it's something we can work on making experiences that are inclusive. But the specific experience that we worked on itself was using some, I can say, more new technology, which is mostly available on like flagship devices. But
so hopefully in the upcoming maybe updates, they'll make it more compatible with more devices, of course.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's only iPhone. There's a few Android devices that the experience worked on. It's just that there were more of the Android devices that it didn't work on.
Yeah. So hopefully that is stuff that in the future, the technology itself can be much easily applied to.
Yeah.
Because it's complex and needs like a lot of processing power and all that.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's something that as the technology gets better, it will be applicable in every device.
Yeah.
So
looking forward to the future.
Yeah. Looking forward to the future. Okay. So we would like to thank all who managed to attend the Streets of Dar es Salaam AR Exhibition. It was really amazing sharing this experience with you all and showcasing the magic that is AR from the collaboration between arts and technology. We appreciate all the support, shares, which were so many, and the orders that were made during the period and still happening till this time.
Yeah.
There is more to come in the future that we cannot wait to share with you all.
Yes. Thank you so much. And special shout outs to Rebecca from TheDrum and Make It Matter for making it happen and sponsoring her space and time and advice in helping us bringing this exhibition to life.
We really appreciate the support that she has given and she's still giving us. And we're really thankful for that.
Yes, and another special shout out to Ali Remtula for also supporting us with the Streets of Dar es Salaam brand, also using his networks to bring in more people and he himself coming and experiencing the exhibition. There's a lot of advice and ideas that we've shared to make this happen. Another shout out to Shalua, to you. For, I wouldn't be able to do this alone, of course. And this collaboration between the art and technology wouldn't have happened without.
So shout out to each other.
Shout out to each other,
because we needed each other to make this work, to make this happen. I couldn't do it without you.
Yeah.
And honestly, and just everyone who just came through and showed their supports and shares. We see everything and we appreciate. And to anyone who we haven't gotten to replying, like I made sure I replied, like everyone who shared, I made sure I replied, thank you for coming. So like we really appreciate that, and we can't wait to share more of these experiences together.
Oh, for sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.